Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm back at it again with another video. Technically breaking news, but at the same time, I'm probably like an hour late to this. Fortunately, I'm off from work today, and I get to actually cover this. And, you know, this is all I wanted. By the way, if you hear some background noise, I apologize. They are doing construction outside my house or outside my apartment. Don't mind that. I'll try my best to edit that out as much as possible. But this is why I didn't want to talk about the Vince McMahon stuff these past couple of months, because this is exactly what I wanted to see. Now, granted, I'm going to read this along with you guys so we can kind of having a come to Jesus moment. We can figure this out ourselves. I have no clue, because the way they're talking right now and the way I'm hearing everybody else speculate on it, is this in conflation with the Janel Grant stuff? Or is this about the original hush money stuff that happened in 2022? I think those are two separate things, but let's read it together and we'll see, because maybe I'm being misled by certain people. Maybe I'm not understanding what's going on, but we're going to read it together. Link is down in the description box below. This is coming directly from TMZ. Vince McMahon just reached a deal with the feds in his hush money case, with the former WWE honcho agreeing to fork over $1.7 million to put the matter in his rearview mirror. The Securities and Exchange Commission said Friday it found McMahon paid a former employee $3 million in 2019 and an ex-independent contractor $7.5 million in 2022 to buy their silence when it came to allegations against him and his company, the WWE. The SEC, though, says McMahon never properly disclosed the agreements to the WWE's board of directors and no other officials at the wrestling organization, a big no-no. Apparently that resulted in violations. And I quote, "Company executives cannot enter into material agreements on behalf of the company they serve and withhold that information from the company's control functions and auditor," New York Regional Office Exec Thomas P. Smith Jr. said. In order to make things right, the SEC says McMahon agreed to pay a $400,000 fine as well as reimburse the WWE $1.3 million. And should be noted, the feds said McMahon did not admit or deny their findings. McMahon said in a statement on X on Friday morning he was thrilled with the resolution. "The case is closed," he wrote. "Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about that exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. In the end, there was never anything more to this than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put all this behind me." The Wall Street Journal first reported McMahon was under investigation over alleged hush money payments back in 2022, and the fallout from it all resulted in the 79-year-old stepping down from his role in WWE. He later returned, but following an explosive sexual assault lawsuit that was filed by a former WWE staffer, he resigned as the executive chairman of TKO, the company that owns WWE. So that's all they said, but again, I guess for McMahon this is a good thing, but there's a couple of things that you know, like, you guys shouldn't be misled on. You know, he's saying that, you know, the case is closed, and how, for an example, there were a bunch of, in his words, speculation that was misguided and misleading. But then you scroll back up and it clear as day states that McMahon never really denied, or at the very least accepted, any of the findings by the SEC. You know what I mean? Like, I I guess he can say that from a lawful standpoint, obviously, and you're still having to pay all this out, right? Kind of like a civil trial in the case, right? You still have to make payments and reimburse WWE its findings, but I guess that doesn't technically mean that you're guilty. But again, at the same time, nothing was proven, but you didn't technically prove anything wrong. Now, obviously, he's gravy when it comes to this situation. I guess by law, I guess he's cool, but I guess we can all have our own personal interpretations as to how we feel about Vince McMahon. You're gonna talk to me personally. Clearly he did it. It's pretty obvious, right? As far as all the stuff with Rita Chatterton and all that stuff, there's just way too much proof to not believe he did it. Am I the one going crazy here? But again, I guess when messing with America, it has to be 100%, which is a good standard. I still believe in the standard of America where it has to be 100% proven innocent or proven guilty in order to be, typically courted by the courts in itself, right? Have to be 100% proven guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt is the legal standard, right? So I guess if you don't have enough on him, even though it's clear that, he was in the wrong, it's clear that he used company expenditures in order to essentially pay off all the women that he allegedly sexually assaulted or harassed at the very least. It's pretty clear he fucking did it. He didn't even deny it. Even though he didn't admit it either. But I think again, there's a bit of a misconstruing going on here, because it's not to say, so, okay, let's get something straight. Now that we read this together, let's get something straight. It's not to say that Vince McMahon is guilty, but at the same time, it's not to say that Vince McMahon is innocent. So we have that part cleared up, right? But at the same time, it's like, because you couldn't prove him guilty by American law standards, that means by default, he's innocent. So you can make that claim that he's cleared. Him having to reimburse the WWE, at the very least, has more to probably do with the investigation in itself that he had to make happen, right? I'm pretty sure. What was the $400,000 one for, though? Let me go back up again. I'm curious. I forgot already. What was the $400,000 payment for, though? Hang on. I'm finna look that up real quick. In order to make things right, the SEC says McMahon agreed to pay a $400,000 fine. But I wonder what the fine is for, though. It doesn't really tell me. I know, the $1.3 million that he's reimbursing the WWE. I'm pretty sure that has more to do with the investigation in itself. I'm going to presume. I don't think that has anything necessarily to do with any of the company expenditures in its own right? The 13 million dollars originally? I'm gonna assume no, because otherwise that's when he can get audited, right? No? I'm pretty sure that's how that works. The $400,000 one, though, it doesn't necessarily say what he was fined for. If anyone wants to come into the comment section and tell me, it doesn't tell me what he's fined for as far as the $400,000. So I guess it is what it is. But just to kind of clear up any, misconceptions or anything like that, this has nothing to do with the Janel Grant stuff. All right. As a matter of fact, I see something here as I'm doing this in real time. I just seen something about Vince McMahon and Janel Grant. Apparently Janel Grant, or I guess her attorney, they had something to say about this also. So let's read that too. The team for Janel Grant issued a statement on the settlement that Vince McMahon and the SEC agreed to on Friday, which ended the investigation into improper payments made by McMahon during his time as CEO of WWE. The settlement fined McMahon $400,000 and ordered him to reimburse WWE $1.3 million for violating the securities and exchange. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. By knowingly circumventing WWE's internal accounting controls, and that he directly or indirectly made or caused to be made false or misleading statements to WWE's auditors. Oh, okay. That's how he got around it. Okay, that makes more sense. So I guess I'm going to presume he claimed to feign ignorance, that he didn't know that it was bad to essentially lie to WWE's auditors as far as how he was exchanging the company's expenditures with the people he paid the money out to as far as the hush money stuff. So essentially, when he was fucking with WWE's internal affairs, shareholder monies, in order to pay off these women or whoever was involved, I guess the whole deal was he's probably saying, I didn't know that was a bad thing. But regardless, whether you know or whether you didn't know, which I guess that's what they were trying to prove, right? That's what they were trying to prove overall, to see whether or not he was guilty. That still has nothing to do with the fact that you still did it, right? Right. So the fact that he still did it, he has to pay this fine or reimburse the WWE for this. But he's not going to get in further trouble because they can't prove that he knowingly did what he did. Okay, now that makes more sense. Now I get it. That makes way more sense reading this now. But let's see, McMahon, we already talked about that when he put out his response. Janel Grant responded with, during his time leading WWE, Vince McMahon acted as if rules did not apply to him, and now we have confirmation that he repeatedly broke the law to cover up his horrifying behavior, including human trafficking. The SEC's charges prove that the NDA Vince McMahon coerced Ms. Grant into signing violates the law, and therefore her case must be heard in court. While prosecutors for the Southern District of New York continue their criminal investigation, we look forward to bringing forward new evidence in our civil case about the sexual exploitation of Miss Grant, or I guess that Miss Grant endured at WWE by Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. And as I stated, again, I guess I was right. That has nothing to do with the Janel Grant stuff. Nor does that have anything to do with the fact that like Vince is in the clear necessarily. You know what I mean? Like he may be proven as far as like in the court of law that he's in the clear. He doesn't have to worry about this anymore because he can just sit here and say that, hey, I didn't know what I was doing when I was making these payments. And considering that they can't prove that, he's now automatically innocent. So technically he's in the clear from a lawful standpoint. And within the Janel Grant case, that is still ongoing at the moment. And as I stated, and I'm going to continue, as far as my opinion, from a lawful standpoint, is Vince in trouble with the Janel Grant stuff? I don't know. We got to see the evidence as it starts to come out. You know, from what I've seen so far, as we talked about, you can go back in my earlier videos last year. I made like half a dozen videos about the Vince McMahon Janel Grant stuff. For what I can see is that Vince McMahon and Janel Grant were pretty much, you know, linking with each other in order to do what they wanted to do as adults. And as far as I'm seeing, Janel Grant didn't get the money that she was owed by Vince McMahon, or at least the remainder of the money that she was owed by Vince McMahon, which she felt slighted, rightfully so. You owe the money to the woman, you owe the money to the woman, right? She felt slighted, and now she's suing to get the remainder of that money back, right? The sex exploitation stuff, I still don't know how that's gonna hold. You know, as far as like, oh, that's considered when you willingly did it and you exchange funds to get that. But like I said, you know, they have more evidence, bring it up. As far as sex trafficking is considered, still not sure how that's gonna hold up considering, hold on, hang on, hold on, let me see something real quick. Sorry, I just had to go back to go look at my old videos just to make sure that I had the premise that I'm explaining right now, just to kind of, you know, because I forgot a little bit of the stuff that happened with the Janel Grant stuff. And no, yeah, I still feel the exact same way. Just had to go clear that up. Yeah, no, 2 consenting adults, one spends money. I mean, people are too focused on the actions in itself when talking about this lawfully. You can look at Vince McMahon from a moral standpoint and still hold him accountable as far as being a disgusting old man. That's fine. But at the same time, is he in trouble or should he be in trouble for sex trafficking? No, that's fucking ridiculous. Okay, just making sure I had the rights, because I haven't talked about this in so fucking long. Yeah, that was my point. Yeah, I keep the same point. No, Janel Grant is not an innocent woman, in my opinion, for any stretch of the imagination. No, she's a woman who agreed to commence in payments with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon paid her. He did some disgusting things to her. She agreed to it because she wanted the money, and now she's owed the money. That's the bad part. The bad part is Vince McMahon owes her the money. I don't give a shit about him shitting on her head or any of that stuff. Two consenting adults. You want to be an idiot and get shitted on the head, and you want to get money from it. I see you no different than a prostitute in the end of the day. I mean, that's what she is, right? Essentially, you're getting paid to do sexual endeavors. You're a prostitute. So no, I don't give a shit about that. If you want to have a conversation about the moral ethics as far as shitting on someone's head, that's a completely separate situation compared to what we're talking about lawfully. And nope, still the same stance that I had about a year ago. Janel Grant, Vince McMahon, they're both consenting adults. Janel should get paid her money if she's owed money by Vince. But all the sex trafficking stuff, nah. Not buying it still. Not buying it. Now, they got some more evidence, to actually talk about the actual sexual exploitation of Janel Grant outside of text messages that did not, from what I can see so far, coerce her. I didn't see anything as far as threatening her job, threatening to beat her ass, threatening her family, holding something over her head as far as blackmail. I don't see any coercion as far as the evidence is considered. I see a woman who just wants her money for her sexual deviancy with Vince McMahon. And, I think people are too emotionally invested and concerned with the actions in itself versus lawfully what the hell's going on here. Not to mention, again, they're coddling the shit out of Janel Grant. Gonna say this one more time. She's a consenting adult. Unless Vince raped her or did something to her, that'd be horrible, obviously. And if we can get some evidence as far as that occurring, then you probably got a case on your hands. If you can get some evidence occurring about Vince McMahon threatening her harm or her job or anything like that, then you got a case on your hand. Otherwise, nah, just a bunch of consenting adults and Janel Grant, for the most part, not getting her money. So we'll see how that's going to carry out still. But as far as the SEC stuff, lawfully, dude's clear. What more can you say? What more can you do about that? You can have your interpretation. You can see what Vince actually did, and you can have your own opinion. You asked me my opinion. Clearly, Vince did everything. Obviously, he did all that, right? But that's just technically now an opinion. Technically speaking, it's not proven in court. It's how he got off. So it is what it is. But I'll let you guys have your thoughts down in the comment section below. Vince McMahon is in the clear for one situation, asterisk, lawfully, that he is still reimbursing WWE for, because intent wasn't proven doesn't mean he didn't do it. The intent is what he's, being in the clear for. The doing it part, he still has to reimburse for. Janel Grant, he is still in that same case settling that. Or I guess not even in a settlement. It's an ongoing case currently at the moment. He's not clear from that. That still has to play out. But I'll let you guys have your thoughts. Don't let me influence you in any manner. I'm just here to read you what the hell we just read today. I'm just here to present the facts. That's up to you to decide what you want to do with it. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. A deuces and a P. Eyes.